All right, and it is biting with Smokin Jeremy B. We got Facebook user coming in saying, "What up, Jeremy Ballrick?" Oh, so just put in the comments what your name is because Restream doesn't click up as quickly as the other one. Mark Malik comes in and says, "Super Bowl or bust." Speaking of Super Bowls, we finally have some champs. The Chiefs were crowned. It's the second time out of three Super Bowl trips that Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs. They only went
Oh,
three.
you're right. Sorry, my bad. Yeah.
He's 2 out of 3. Remember, he lost the other one to Tom,
Yep.
the GOAT Brady, who retired.
Yep.
So we got micro GOAT, Pat Mahomes. Keegan Eckerd says, "Hey guys, good to see you, Keegan." That being said, what did you guys think of the Super Bowl? I thought it was a great game. And, when the guy that commits the penalty said, "Yeah, I committed a penalty," there's no crying. That's all I got to say. Was some questionable calls here and there? Yes. Did it go? It was a great game, but I don't understand how an average defense and a great defense played horrible defense the whole game for both teams.
I agree. I agree. I'll first off say the Chiefs' offense. Wow. Travis Kelsey, you winter team's gonna learn how to double that man every possession. Come on. Freaking
I
Travis
love the gun
Kelsey.
guys comment there. Bye, Eagle, bye.
That's hilarious.
That's great.
Travis Kelsey averaged 13.5 yards per catch.
You think?
NFL teams, double the man. If you don't want him to catch, double the guy. Also, the Chiefs had 43 more rushing yards. And also, guess what? Speaking of this, famed Eagles defense with Fletcher Cox, and you got Hassan Reddick. You got other great defensive players. How many sacks did they put up? A zero. A zero.
I thought
And
they
you had
finally got one in the third quarter, if I remember right. It took them
Mike.
two and a half
I
quarters.
saw zero. I
You saw
saw
some.
zero
Oh wait, no,
sacks.
there was a penalty, so it took it away. That's right.
So 0 sacks for this amazing defense, which was good all year. But guess what? Had zero in the Super Bowl when it all matters most. Also, I agree. When a guy admits he did a penalty, there's no crying about it. He admitted it. He held him, and we all saw it.
Yeah,
Also,
we saw the jersey pull away from the guy's body.
Honestly, I also think that Kadarius Toney punt return was huge in the fourth quarter. That was crazy huge. But for the good news for the Eagles, I know they lost. AJ Brown played great, and Devontae Smith also played great. So and Hurts played he had almost a near flawless game. The only thing I think that hurt him, I know it was early in the game, was the fumble.
Yeah. All right, let me catch up the comments real quick. Hurts couldn't throw in that PA. And Facebook here says, "Let's give Andy Reid some credit. One of the best halftime adjustments I can remember." Yes, absolutely. Tampa nursing home. James Burgess says, "Lynn Swann dealt with worse than that." Yeah, probably. Hurts put up one of the best performances in recent QB history despite a losing effort. Yes, he did. For the first time ever, a quarterback rushed for 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, literally. And there was a case of him winning Super Bowl MVP on a losing team.
Mm-hmm.
Mahomes
that being said, who
Go
expects that being said, next year, who expects Philly to take a step back? Because now they're going to have a new OC and a new defensive coordinator because both of them are head coaches now. One went to Indianapolis. I believe that was the OC, right?
Yeah, he's going to be an OC for them too.
And the DC went to be the head coach of the Cardinals, right?
He went to be the Cardinals DC, I think, too.
No, head coach.
Both of them?
Both of them are head coaches now.
Wow. So, yeah, for the OC, the Colts have a good O-line, Jonathan Taylor. If they can get a good QB and a few more receivers, They'll be a really good team, and they've got a solid defense. For the Cardinals, they have a lot to improve on. JJ Watt just retired. Kyler Murray plays more Call of Duty than reading a playbook, like we like to say, Jeremy.
Mighty Mouse.
Mighty Mouse. But I don't know. I think that the Cardinals and the Colts have a lot of holes and questions the offseason to fill. Of course, the Colts' main issue is get a veteran quarterback. For the Cardinals, it's a whole number of things they can improve on.
All right, so I'm going to catch up the comments again real quick. Hurts now is locked in as the number one fantasy football league QB going into the 2023 fantasy season. Gun Guy says Lions NFC Championship in 2023. Facebook user says Philly will take a step back, sadly, plus a plethora of players heading to free agency. That division is still arguably the best overall. Yeah, because they're going to take a step back, but they're probably still going to be an 8 to 9 win team.
Yep.
My dad says, "What's up, guys?" And James Rivers says, "By the way, I think the Titans would take a mulligan on the AJ Brown scenario."
I think so too.
You think? Yeah. Drafting Treylon Burks was such a great move.
Oh, yeah, totally. No.
And James Burgess sells my dad high.
Yeah, I do agree. The Eagles are going to regress a little bit.
And our new running backs coach and assistant head coach already had an interview to be the OC of Tampa Bay, which he came back.
Nice.
But that's a... Jeremy, the thoughts on the Miles Sanders disappearing act? That has a lot to do with the play calling. And it's like they just didn't use him properly. Barton Scott had a decent game. Who's the other guy that they had? Gainwell. Kenneth Gainwell. He had a decent game. But Sanders was like non-existent. When he did run, he just sort of got enveloped right at the line of scrimmage. I mean, he was getting swarmed.
He got swallowed up.
No, I'm saying Gainwell did not suck at all. He did well. He gained well.
Yeah. Well, wink, wink. Yeah, for real. Goddard played decent. Goddard, I told people, and I said, it was early to say.
Everybody asked me on who are the next big tight ends coming up. I said, okay, Dallas Goddard, Dalton Schultz, and probably Dawson Knox are the next ones up and coming to get up into that top 5 to 10 area real quick.
Yeah. Like there's Travis Kelce, you got George Kittle, Darren Waller, you got Dawson Knox, those guys you named. Yeah.
I mean, Dawson Knox is on the cusp of surpassing Waller because he's actually a better red zone threat.
Oh,
Waller is more like a wide receiver in a tight end's body, and he just has a lot of speed.
Oh, I agree.
Facebook user says Goddard, a top 5 tight end in the league, no doubt. Yeah.
I think so. He reminds me of a younger Zach Ertz.
And as much as I hate that team that I talked about, Dalton Schultz is one hell of a tight end.
Yes, for sure. He's crazy.
And a big DC8091 says, greetings.
Hey,
Jazer says, KC did a really good job for the most part of keeping their rush at proper depth and not running out of the play too much. Absolutely.
I agree 100%. I was really impressed how the rookie Nick Bolton played that fumble return, and then he could have had a pick 6. Man, he could have won. Imagine if that pick 6 counted, he could have won MVP of the Super Bowl.
If anybody was watching last draft, I wanted Nick Bolton.
Yeah, he's a beast. Which Eagle?
Don't get me wrong. I'm very happy having Malcolm Rodriguez because he did do well a majority of the season. And Facebook user was, which Eagle would you like to sign if we had to? Hargrave or Bradbury or TJ Edwards? Believe it or not, the one I would like to sign is if we can't re-sign Swaggy, I want Miles Sanders.
Yeah, that would be a solid running back to have in that backfield. Move
Swaggy
on
had a
from
great year for
Swift.
us, but he was mostly a red zone threat. That's where he got almost all of his touchdowns, except for 2 big gains all year out of the 17 touchdowns
Who's
he had.
Swaggy?
Jamal Williams.
Oh, I didn't know that was his nickname.
Yeah, that's his nickname, Swaggy. But if we can't re-sign him, let's say he doesn't want to accept that team-friendly deal, the market value for his style of player at his age is around $10 million.
Yeah. You know who would be a fun running back? I don't know if the Lions would be interested. A guy like a James Robinson, but the Jets have him for
Jets have him for 1 more year. Yep.
Yep.
All right, let's see. And Facebook Gear says Philly should have won. Sanders is going to want out. He is a free agent this year, so I think he will leave and want a bag, and the only team that will give it to him is the Falcons. More than likely, but I don't think he gets a bag this time because he hasn't been used properly. James Reyes says, I'd love to have Malcolm not be my best linebacker, but he sure was a steal. Yeah, I mean, he was. And actually, our best linebacker, as much as I hate to say it, was Anzalone. It's just he, at the same time, with his missed tackle rate, was one of the worst linebackers. And Facebook user says, Go Lions. I love it. That being said, there's been a little bit of coach movement here and there, and I already named them, the OC and the DC of Philly. For $10 million, oof, I'd rather sign Tony Pollard. Greetings from the Cigar Lounge in Baltimore. That's awesome, DC. That's our Ravens/Lions fan.
Yeah, a lot of coaching movement lately.
But the next thing we got to look forward to is in a couple of weeks, we got free agency coming up. And, of course, the Combine. And this weekend is the debut of the XFL, right? Is it XFL or USFL this weekend?
XFL.
The rebranding new Dwayne Rock Johnson owned XFL.
Yep.
Anzalone was great last year. Barnes came on strong for us the second half of last year. Yes. And DC 8091, Lamar coming back. What do you think? The GM has basically said if they can't get a deal done, they're going to put the exclusive tag on him. And I was listening to ESPN. The tag numbers that are out, all the one. Oh, it's Greg Rice. I thought it was. I didn't want to say it was because you have been very spot on, brother. Good to see it from you. And all is well. Way too well. I'll talk to you later. But you know, I'm really looking forward to free agency because we're sitting at, I think it's 34 or 36.6 after the addition of the additional cap space. So if they get rid of the 4 cap anchors that I think they're going to get rid of, Brockers, Big V, Charles Harris, as much as I hate to say it, and Mark Mallet, what CB are we going to snag in free agency? I'm going to get to that in just a second. But and the last one's Romeo Okwara. Yes, he had 2 sacks in his first game back, but he basically disappeared the rest of the season.
Yeah.
The DT and the cornerback that I want to nab in free agency, if I was Brad Holmes and you're looking at, don't have a lot of cap room because we got $18 million to spend on draft picks. Even if you do all that, I would do like Shelton Rankins as the vet leadership for the D tackle room. And I would do Byron Murphy out of Arizona. If he doesn't get re-signed, I would go.
Yeah, that would be really good for the Lions. I agree.
And DC 8091 says, fuck Lamar, draft a better QB and move on.
We'll see.
Greg Rice says Romeo is looking like he could be a casualty, sadly. And Keegan Eckerd, when Will was talking about Arizona and Indy, the only team that is more interesting is Carolina. I want to see what Frank does with that defense and how he builds that offense. And plus, he has Jim Caldwell as senior offensive coordinator advisor.
Yeah. Keegan.
Byron Murphy, because he's going into his second vet contract. I'm addressing Mark Malek's comment. He'll be a $7 to $9 million corner that plays the CB2 and the nickel. He started out in his nickel his first 2 years in the league, and then Patrick Peterson went to the Vikings, and he became the 2 because they had the other guy that slid into the 1. And I just think he's going to be a great addition.
But yeah,
okay.
Keegan, I'm excited as a Panther fan. Having a guy who used to play for us. Hopefully he can bring in a veteran quarterback. Because currently I think the only quarterbacks on our roster are Corral and someone else. Not Darnold. But we'll see. And then
you'll probably start off with the only reason why you're going to start off with Darnold is because Corral has had almost no development because he got hurt in the preseason and missed the whole year. And Facebook user says, I like Rankins and Murphy. Those would be great pickups.
I would love to get a veteran QB or get like a CJ Stroud if he can somehow fall to us, but I don't think he will fall to us at 9.
Yeah, you'd almost, if you want Stroud, you probably are going to have to at least trade up with the Lions or better.
Exactly. And and I like Dom Capers coming back. As for our defense, it's getting better slowly. We got some good young pieces like Frankie.
Your defense wasn't the issue last year. You guys gave up less points than the Lions.
Yeah.
Your problem was the offense couldn't score. Your offense was 26th in the league. That was the problem.
Piss poor.
The Lions' offense, on the other hand, was top 5.
Yep.
Well, I think they should exercise the 5th-year option on Okudah because he's basically only got still a year and a half of games of development under him. I still like the idea of drafting 2 cornerbacks, one possibly in the first round, but at least one in the second round and possibly the third. A couple of the guys that I like are like Emmanuel Forbes, Clark Phillips the third. I love Devin Witherspoon. And that 60.4 QBR was in his career, not just 1 year. That was for his whole career at Illinois as a corner. His stats last year for QBR against was 25.2.
Wow.
He didn't give up a touchdown all season.
Where is he projected? What round?
Top 10.
Wow. Nice.
He's projected top 10. He's moved in the PFF ranking as the best corner coming out in the draft. I'm telling you, if Carter's gone and Will Anderson's gone at 6, if I can get somebody to trade up between 7 and 10, I'm good with it. And I'd take Witherspoon there, but I wouldn't take him at 6. At 6, you'd almost have to go with Brian Brisset out of Clemson, or maybe even take the linebacker out of Clemson, Trenton Simpson.
Miles Murphy.
No, not Miles Murphy. We don't need edge. We're deep at edge. I'm talking about the linebacker, Trenton Simpson.
Yeah, Simpson's a freak
because he's a top 8 to 15 talent, depending on which scouting board you look at.
Yep.
He has surpassed Noah Sewell because Noah Sewell looked really bad in coverage. He looked very stiff. He was not a sideline defender like everybody thought he'd be at Oregon.
Yep.
And Facebook user, that has to be Greg. I'm a Witherspoon fan too. Plus,
yeah, he said he was. That's funny.
His freshman year, he was a safety playing opposite Kirby Joseph.
Right.
And Keegan Eckerd Wright mostly said he wants a guy that can throw good in the pocket and can run when needed to. The only guy like that I think Wright likes in this draft is Levis. And I think Levis will be there at 9.
Oh yeah, he will be. He will be.
And Facebook user Trenton Simpson should be great in the NFL. Very versatile, a guy you can use as a hybrid.
And you know what's funny? I'm a Clemson fan, and that's what exactly I thought the Cardinals would do with Isaiah Simmons, and he was a hybrid player too. He was positionless on the defense, and he hasn't done much.
Thoughts on Breesy? I'm not sold. He got ate up by the bigger interior lineman. He would get eaten up and he wouldn't get his pressure. And he's got a great first step. And I like that about him. He's so fast and he can make himself skinny, and he does get low because he has actually a really good bend. But the bigger centers and guards ate him up.
Yeah, they do. Hey, he is a nice.
And Keegan, let me read this comment here before it disappears. James Burgess said, DW. Got to get back to it. There it is. DW has moved up a shit ton since the end of college season in scouting type, and viewing started up in earnest. Yes, that is absolutely true. Keegan Eckert, I think the Lions will trade down with Carolina and grab Witherspoon or Gonzalez at 9. I pray to God it's Witherspoon. I think it's Jonathan, by the way, Jeremy. Okay, good. Jonathan Ray? Just guessing. James Burgess. Saika Ika is huge. Hugeness matters. Yes, that's the guy that we have 2 second-round picks. If we don't take a D tackle in the first round, let's say it's just, how about Gonzalez at 18? If we've got our defensive tackle or linebacker at 6 or 9 or wherever we're at 18, I like Gonzalez. But I like Emmanuel Forbes. He's right on the cusp of being there. Gonzalez has great hip swivel and good change of direction, but he lacks elite speed. I like Emmanuel Forbes for elite speed, hip swivel, and change of direction. And Clark Phillips, he's stiff in the hip movement, but has good change of direction. He also has an excellent vertical leap. That's why I like him. And he does a lot of in-air ball defense. He plays the ball very well in the air. He's not a ball hawking, like grabbing it, but he hawks that ball so that the wide receiver don't. And another guy I like, big, physical guy out of LSU, Mekhi Gardner.
Yeah.
Mekhi Garner, not Gardner. I said it like sauce. I like that guy. He'd be a great 3rd round pickup. 6'3", 210 pounds. I like that size too, especially for a corner. Okay. Thoughts on Canty? I know he's small. The production is there though, and he's the last Pitt DT was pretty good. Yeah, Aaron Donald. I know who you're talking about. Canty is good, but I actually like the tweener out of USC a lot better. Had the best production in football, really.
I forgot what his name is.
Tua Alphabet. But anyways, he's listed as edge / DT.
or something.
Yeah, Tilapia or Tilapia or whatever. And Cam Smith is another good upside DB that'll be available mid to late first. Yes, absolutely. From South Carolina.
Yep.
Jonathan, I need you to message me after the show. I want to get with you about doing a college show on Saturdays, every other Saturday with me or something like that. I think that's where I want to go with that.
Oh, man. I love college football. I'll definitely have to talk to you sometime about it, Jeremy.
Something Pacific Islander. I get the point, Jeremy. He's Samoan, yes. He's not a Tonga Viola, though.
No. Thank goodness.
I still remember I watch that guy that does all the little reels, Benchwarmer Brand, making fun of stuff in the NFL every week. And they look over at Tua. You're back this week? He goes, yeah, I passed protocols. He goes, how? He goes, they wanted me to spell my name. He goes, you could spell Tonga Viola? He goes, fuck no, I spelled Tua.
I love Benchwarmer Brand. I just watched his newest video of yeah, he's so funny. If those in the comments haven't watched him, go watch him. He's hilarious.
Yep. So every other week I'm gonna do that, and once a month my buddy Brendan Cook will be on with us. So we'll have a 3-way meeting of the minds. Meeting of the minds. Don't go that way. Don't go there. Don't go there. Yeah, okay. 3-way. Oh, that's pretty cool, Beavis.
He'll beat us. Oh.
So, what do you guys want to talk about out there in the chat land?
Yes,
how about Ivan Pace Jeremy for a third round pick? Yes, I do like him, but where we pick, it's in that middle range, and I like him. If he's there, great, but I don't think he's going to be there. He could possibly go somewhere towards the end of the second round, early for third.
Yeah, I agree. As a Clemson fan, Brzee does need to get stronger.
He does need to get stronger. I said he gets ate up by bigger guards and centers. He does. And guess what? The smaller guards and centers, they're not really in the NFL.
No.
We should start calling our O-line for, I got a new nickname for him, guys. 2 tons of fun.
That's perfect.
I'll tell you what, at 18, if all those good corners are gone, Osiris Torrance.
Never heard of him.
Facebook you got a top 3 wish list for free agency? Yeah, I already named 2. Sheldon Rankins, Byron Murphy. And then the best prove-it player available. I don't want somebody that's like had a plethora of injuries.
A good running back.
And Keegan Nicker says, I'm also in on Jack Campbell out of Iowa. Yeah, that guy. Yeah. Yep, the Florida right guard. Torrance has largeness on his side. Yes, he does. He's a big, big man that stops other big, big men. Didn't give up a sack.
Wow. Oh.
You put him in place of Big V, and that is one massive O-line we got.
Yeah.
Taylor Decker, Jonah Jackson, Frank Ragnow, Torrance, and
Dude
Sewell.
is a roadblock. Yeah, that's an understatement.
Yeah, he is the road grader, roadblock, pass blocking machine that we need.
Nice. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping Ika Makwanu can turn into.
Ikanwu did good for you guys.
Yeah, he did.
I knew he'd be good. I said Ike Ikanwu was probably the second best guard in the draft, and I was right.
Who was he behind? Not Darisaw. Was it?
Neil.
How do I forget about Neil?
And Evan Neal proved he was pretty good for the Giants.
Yes. Get him and
You've been smoking that rock again, James.
Hey, he did high point ball.
I'll tell you what, they've been talking about this all over about Skronsky. He has very short arms. He would probably be more suited at guard.
What position is he?
He is a right tackle for Northwestern.
Oh, wow.
He's the one that filled in for Slater, and it was like he wasn't gone.
Yeah.
And I'm not done yet. I love you, James. Man, that's pretty much all the topics.
Yep.
I don't have a third. It's the best ones available. And he goes, I've heard him projected guard too. Well, if you can't afford to take 2 first rounders for depth, that's for sure. Not on the O line. That'd be like a Millen move with taking 2 wide receivers in the first round. Yeah, I think Skronsky's going to end up being a guard in the NFL. I could be wrong. Maybe he proves himself for somebody. I'll tell you who should take him, and they probably won't. The Steelers.
Yeah, they need protection for Pickett for years to come.
I mean, they should. I think they made the mistake last year. They could have had Kenny Pickett in the second round and had Linderbaum in the first. I thought for sure they were going Linderbaum. When I heard Kenny Pickett's name, I was like, what the?
They're trying to compensate not getting Dan Marino in the 84 draft.
Oh, stop. Well, you could always go back to the 98 draft. With the 27th pick, or the 28th pick, the Detroit Lions select Terry Fair. The 29th pick, the Minnesota Vikings select Randy Moss.
No, you're kidding.
No, that's how it went down. We chose Terry Fair, the cornerback and kick returner.
He did nothing, right?
He was all right. He was nothing great. Would you trade up for Carter? It really, really would have to be the right package. And the right package would be
it's like the Fight Club. We don't talk about Fight Club. We don't talk about Fair.
Fine. Let's get worse. Let's talk about Mayhew. And with the 10th pick, the Lions select Eric Ebron. The 11th pick, the LA Rams select Aaron Donald.
Oh, my God. It's like my Charlotte Hornets getting bad luck with trying to get the first pick, but they get screwed when they had the worst draft.
And what about our good year when we had the 28th pick in the draft? And with the 28th pick, the Lions pick a guard from Duke, Laken Tomlinson. We got a basketball player?
Who?
And Keegan Eckerd. Now that Carr is cut, what team do you think will pick him up? I got it as Tampa, Indy, Washington, or Texans.
James. That's perfect.
I reject your version of history and substitute it with my own. And this year we're changing the communion wine to Jack Daniels, because if you don't see Jesus, then you never will.
Exactly right. Man, I want to know the reality James is living in. Who's the quarterback for the Lions? Is it?
It's Jared Goff. It's Jared Goff. Holy shit, I think I need to walk home. Hey, I'll be fine. He goes, yay! Talking about the change of the communion wine to Jack Daniels.
God damn.
That's what would happen is that they ever made a Baptist deacon the Pope. We'd have Pope Jim John Jean and Cardinal Bubba.
Cardinal Bub. What's your name? Cardinal Bub. Where are you from? Alabama.
Come on. Pope Jim John Jean. That wasn't good.
Pope Jim John Dean sounds like he'd be related to Jim Bob Cooter.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, well, this has been Kneecap Biting with Smokin Jeremy B, and it is time for me to do the one thing I always have to do, and that is pay the bills. A1 Tire in Cucaulin at 3573 Old Cucaulin Road in Bay City, Michigan, where we not only sells tires and used cars with TNT Auto Sales, we also do window tinting and auto detailing. It's more like a tire boutique. And Dan Leonard's little custom creations there, Mad Lab Custom Creations, where they do some crazy customizing of signed memorabilia, full size and mini helmets. Check him out on Facebook. Ebron was the twilight of Mayhew's career in Detroit. That's why I think Payne resigns with the Commanders, and he won't let a game-changing DT walk away again. Although I'd love our Lions to snag him. The only thing I don't like about Deron Payne is the price tag he's going to command.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
And James Burgess has won some real pain. Jeremy, tell him about us passing on Errol Donald. I already did.
Yeah. Yeah, the Panthers skipped on a few guys. Let's see.
You don't have to rehash it all. Yeah. You don't.
There's one name I just want to say we drafted, and I wish he was never in existence, was Kelvin Benjamin.
I thought, isn't Mayhew still the assistant GM in San Francisco? Jasper just says, "Oh, I missed that part while crying because I talked about the Fair Moss thing." And with the 12th pick, the Lions select Jordan Dizon. What the fuck? Lions take Jelani Tavai over A.J. Brown, DK Metcalf, and Miles Sanders. Yep. Wasn't Justin Jefferson picked after that too? Because he was a second rounder.
Hey, at least you're not the Eagles screwed up too. They drafted Rieger over Justin Jefferson.
Facebook user Ebron was a no-brainer. Hall of Fame career. Who is this Aaron Donald that keeps coming up?
Yeah, I've never heard of this dude. Maybe a Super Bowl winner.
I never heard of Aaron Donald. I never heard of her.
I've heard of Darren Arnold, but
I've heard of Arnold Palmer.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank everybody in the chat and all the viewers that have been on tonight. I had a lot of fun. I'm basically going to take a week off because there's not a lot of news now that all the head coaching spots are filled and everything else. We're going to take a week off from Wednesday, but we will be doing the Lions Fan Cave chat every Friday. I'm not missing that. So please stay tuned. Check it out. Check us out. And once free agency kicks in, I don't miss a week.
Yep.
This has been Kneecap Biting with Smokin' Jeremy B. And as I always say, try every day to be a better person than you were the day before, because that's the only way to make the world a better place. And we are signing out.